Well, the team lineups indicate it'll be anything but a phony war today as they look to gain a psychological edge ahead of the semi-final. The Wolves bring back 4 stars: Kevin Brown, Tyrone Roberts, skipper Chris Hull and Ben Murdoch-Masila. Tom Lynham suspended, Jack Hughes and Darrell Clarke take a breather. Hughes misses his first game in 2 years. On the bench, young Morgan Smith retains his place, having returned to the scene against Wigan last week after missing 19 games in a row. St Helens made 4 changes to their 19-man squad. Of those, Ryan Morgan returns to action in the centres. Zeb Taylor comes back in up front, having sat out the win against Hull that clinched the League Leaders' Shield last week. Skipper James Roby is missing for the 3rd game in a row. Morgan Knowles is a more than capable deputy. James Bentley, who earned a debut last week, holds on to his place in the 2nd row. And on the bench, there's a return to action for Dominique Peyrou, who has missed the last 6 games. So the crowd here today expecting a cracker, as it sometimes is, between Warrington and St Helens. A 4th meeting between the two in a fortnight's time that will determine who is off to the grand final this year. And this is a real milestone for coach Justin Holbrook of St Helens, because he's taking charge of St Helens today for the 50th time. And the Saints are top of the table. They are primed for that home semi-final with Warrington in 2 weeks' time. And so we welcome viewers on the Sky Sports main event channel. You have chosen very wisely. It is Warrington against Saints from the Betfred Super League Super 8s. The 3rd meeting between these two sides of 2018. Both have gone previously to St Helens. But the big thing for the two teams today as they emerge from the dressing rooms is that the next time they meet, they will be 80 minutes away from Old Trafford. How important, Phil Clarke, is this game to both of these sides?
Well, for me, Eddie, it's vital that Warrington win this match. I don't believe that they can travel in 2 weeks' time to St Helens and upset who have been the best team all season, the league leaders, the Saints, on their own ground, without a significant win here today. The coach has brought back some big names. Cooper and Hill stand out up front. They've laid a platform for much of this season. And I suspect here tonight that, if anything, Warrington simply have to win this game to take some confidence into that playoff match.
Well, the spotlight invariably falls, of course, on the halfbacks. And the halfbacks for Warrington today, Kevin Brown and Tyrone Roberts up against Johnny Lomax and Danny Richardson. And really, John Wells, it is a test of just how good Brown and Roberts can be against those two.
Yeah, it is. Certainly the visiting team, St Helens, Lomax and Richardson have both had outstanding seasons. There is no doubt at all about their ability or their form. The same cannot be said about the home side. The Warrington Wolves partnership of Kevin Brown and Tyrone Roberts, remarkably, I think, coming into the last 4 weeks of the season, still needs some work. They are flattered to deceive for most of 2018, and this is the ideal opportunity for them to get it together.
Well, of course, the Warrington Wolves and their coach Steve Price announced yesterday that 7 players will be leaving this club at the end of the season. Tyrone Roberts, that John was just talking about, is one of them. George King was already known to be heading out, of course, to Wakefield. Add to that list now Ben Pomeroy, Mitch Brown, Bodine Thompson, Dom Crosby, and a 22-year-old winger, Taylor Prell, a rugby union convert signed from the Yorkshire Carnegie and a former England junior international. His contract expires in November as well, and he will be leaving this club, and I believe never having played for the first team. John Wilkins played for the first team of St Helens on a number of occasions, though. Looks like he's looking forward to what's to come over the next 80 minutes, and I hope that Chris Kendall is as well, because he is today's big match referee. So, phony war or psychological war?
Well, the Saints have played with a smile on the face all season, and that's helped them to both entertain the fans and sit at the top of the table. It's going to take a massive performance here from Warrington to quell Ben Barber, and the big question mark over Ben Barber is, can he be as good as he was in the first half of 2018? The Saints will need that if they're to lift the big prize in 3 weeks' time.
And the answer to the question, phony war or psychological war, we know it's a phony war. It is certainly a psychological war, and I reiterate entirely what you said, Phil. It is absolutely essential for the Warrington Wolves, in my view, that they come away the last home game of the season with a victory. They cannot afford to go into a semi-final a fortnight from now, having gone 3-0 in the regular season against St Helens side that, although has wobbled of late, has been pretty dominant for much of 2018.
Well, maybe Chris Kendall is just waiting for the smoke to clear from the pitch, because Warrington really have pushed the boat out here this afternoon in the pre-match entertainment. There were flares and pyrotechnics all around the ground, and we're just about ready to go now. And Stefan Ratchford gets this game underway. Underneath it is Johnny Lomax of St Helens. The first charge from defence, as normal, comes in from Luke Thompson. It's his 31st appearance out of a possible 32, and that's a remarkable total, really, when you consider the way that that young man plays the game.
Yeah, he's led from the front for the Saints this season. He's been assisted by a lot of other forwards who've helped them to be dominant in the middle of the field. Morgan Knowles stands behind the play of the ball. No James Roby, of course, today, but Saints typically shift the ball wide to Mark Percival. His performance today against Ryan Atkins, I think to win the grand final you need some players with class. Percival clearly has it, but today he plays against Ryan Atkins in that far central position, and that's a fascinating battle between those two.
Warrington and Saints, it's always a marquee fixture of any season. And although it's very late in the Super 8's campaign, with what's to come in about 11-12 days' time, well, it makes it no less important here this afternoon. Tyrone Roberts is the dummy half, and he gets the ball away, and Saints now having to defend against the initial run from the centre. Bryson Goodwin, who's playing, actually named on the wing, and is now moving back out to the wing here this afternoon. And Kevin Brown finds Ratchford, who finds Toby King, and he nearly got away, but that was good defence from Tommy Makinson.
Well, the Wolves have been good this season when Ratchford at fullback has been able to create that overlap early in the game. They look to the left-hand side, and again they'll come this way with an offload.
Jack Patton floats the pass wide, then to King again. He goes inside Bodine Thompson, releases the pass then to Stefan Ratchford. Whoa! And it's a tremendous tackle from Barber. He picked Ratchford up, dumped him to the ground, helped by Ryan Morgan. The legs were horizontal, they didn't go above the horizontal. That is why Chris Kendall allows play to continue. Brown's high kick finds Charnley on that right-hand side. Charnley gets to the line, and sheer weight of numbers beats him and puts him over the dead ball line.
Great bit of defence from St Helens early on in the piece. Just interestingly, we've already referenced two players who are stand-ins for absolute nailed-on number 9s in Darrell Clark and James Roby. Morgan Knowles and Dec Patton, they're playing tonight not for a starting position at hooker. That position has gone. They will be filled by the incumbents in the semi-final, but for a bench spot. Really, really interesting. Again, we talk about the psychology of rugby league, Eddie. What's going through their minds, what they expect to get out of this game. Fascinating.
There is Morgan Knowles at dummy half. He gets it away to Richardson, and this is an interesting selection. 20-year-old James Bentley, his debut last week in the win against Hull, playing on here this afternoon. Now Matty Lees, this young man impresses with each and every game. It's his first start for St Helens. Lomax will take it forward. On the 40-metre line he's grounded. Then Murdoch Masilla and Holbrook and Sean Long watching alongside as Richardson gets the kick away. He was under pressure from Westwood, and Westwood went for the legs of the kicker, and the referee Chris Kendall wasn't too impressed with that, and he has awarded St Helens a penalty 5 metres away from the Warrington line.
Well, these are the tough decisions referees and touch judges have to make. They said he got there late. A degree of sympathy, but
he hit the legs, that was the thing, wasn't it?
But what part of his body do you want him to hit? Obviously we don't want him to hit the head, so he's jumped off the floor. He's got both arms out in the tackling position.
The referee, Chris Kendall, wants a word with Ben Westwood.
The contact is unnecessary. You've got plenty of time to pull out of the tackle. You need, no, Chris, listen, you need to be very, very careful. It's a penalty. No, end of.
Well, it's dangerous play as far as Chris Kendall is concerned. He had plenty of time, he said, to pull out.
No, I 100% agree with that. Very, very valuable assets, halves and English halves as well, if we're going to go about it in that way. I think St Helens electing to go for the two, but Danny Richardson, one of the bright young things in Super League, and I'm almost of the opinion that you need to afford more protection to the halfbacks in this game. We're heading towards, and I don't have an issue with it in my opinion, almost the roughing the passer rule that we have in the NFL. I think these are the golden boys of every team, and I think it's imperative that they are protected.
Well, Ben Westwood He's a golden boy as far as the Warrington public are concerned. He's 37 years of age. This is his 379th Super League appearance for the Warrington Wolves. It's a new club record that he holds. But Danny Richardson, well, he is ever present at halfback all year. He's kicked 121 goals, the only kicker to reach 3 figures in 2018, and he should add another one to that total here now.
I think Eddie's field kicking, the kicks for tries, the kicks to gain ground have probably been more effective and more important for the Saints this season. That was one that he put in under pressure with Westwood. We think he'll put this one over to take the lead.
Richards then with this kick to give St Helens an early 2-point advantage. Not a problem from there for him. And yes, his goal kicking has been priceless, his field kicking priceless. A lot of people do have a question mark about Danny Richardson's defence, but he's not the first and last halfback in this country who will have that question posed at him.
Not his main job, not his main role, and they will be working in the week and all year to cover those natural frailties with being the size that Danny Richardson is. I'll tell you what he is. He's an outstanding young player, must be a contender for Young Player of the Season. And I like there's a certain arrogance, and I say that in the best sense of the word, that you get with all young halves. Remember Sean Long, he's got a real way about him that we remember, like Sean Long had. Really arrogant, confident, self-assured. Great player to watch.
Danny Richardson, he is 22, so let me just say, John, he can't become the Young Player of the Year this year.
So do your research, Wells. Do your research.
No, we all made that mistake early on because he burst onto the scene this season.
Great offload from Taylor to Barber.
And Barber gets away, and he has Richardson alongside him. And Barber coming to the right-hand side. That's good defence in the end from Goodwin. Helped out by Roberts. Bentley is waiting at dummy half. Great break from the Saints, though. And plenty of tackles in the bank as well. Loose pass, though. And Zeb Taylor hangs on despite the attentions of Josh Charnley. This Wilkin gets so far, and he then is dumped to the ground by Mike Cooper, returning to the side here today. Knowles switches the direction to the left-hand side. It's Barber again. Oh, it's great play over the top to Percival. Percival is tackled round the ears by Roberts. He was slipping and sliding, but the inference all year from the referees has been the defender, the tackler, has got a duty of care.
Yeah, exactly right. Tyrell Roberts has been forced into that late scrambling defensive play because of the shift of the hips on the catch by Ben Barber. It's his trademark. It's something that catches 9 out of 10 defences out. Outstanding again.
Well, it's All Saints early here in the opening 6.5 minutes. And it's Warrington who are having to defend their line again from 5 metres out. There's Morgan Knowles. Oh, he missed out Luke Thompson. It wasn't the best pass. I think it was meant for Thompson. Thompson didn't fancy it. And Warrington come up with the goods courtesy of Declan Patton.
Well, this is the feature of the Saints, you know, when they lose possession, how quickly they transition into some top defence. Just look at the line speed. They're trying to get up as quickly as possible. All the Warrington home supporters pleading with the referee to blow a penalty and say that the Saints are offside, but there's good discipline amongst that line. Oh, great tackle by Bentley.
Well, he hit Ben Westwood with all he had then.
Well, he's made that tackle alongside John Wilkin. I see him probably as the next John Wilkin for Saints. Hopefully he'll have a decade and a career at the Saints as equally as impressive.
Warrington to their feet eventually. Patton with the kick down the centre of the field, and Makinson is there to collect the ball. And he will run it back now at the wall that's arrived. And the kicker gets to him. Lomax to Regan Grace. Regan Grace goes down on tackle number 2. Knowles again. Solid run from Percival. What a tackle from Ben Murdoch-Masila. Stopped him dead in his tracks. Wilkin to Richardson. Here they come now with Ryan Morgan back in the side today.
There's the hit on Percival, who took the ball in the centre of the field, going back now to the middle.
With Wilkin, and here's Lomax, and that's Taylor. And well, 1 or 2 of the St Helens passes have been just missing the mark in the opening 8 minutes here. They lost a little bit of momentum there. Ryan Atkins will be happy enough about that. Here is Richardson again.
The last tackle, and they've got that all wrong. I'm not sure what Richardson thought when he was put under pressure from the inside. I think Chris Hill set off at him.
markers.
We know on a previous tackle, Ben Westwood got to him late. It may have affected his thinking.
He was expecting Lees to make the pass, to get it out to Ryan Morgan. Somebody maybe a little bit more capable of putting the kick in. You'll forgive Matty Lees, that is an outstanding season, hasn't he? An excellent first season for St Helens.
Will the coach forgive the halfback?
I think he's going to have to, Phil.
And Matty Lees is a contender for Young Player of the Year.
Do you know what? It's almost as if you read my mind, Eddie. he has been good, and what I like about him as well is he's a real charger of a ball. Little or no concern for his own personal welfare. Just what Saints are looking for. In the absence of Alex Worms and Kyle Amor missing, of course, today, he's provided some real grunt and some enthusiasm up front.
And Murdoch Masilla is halted by the tackle of those two out there, and he's hurt. Is the big fella. He walks away somewhat gingerly from that play of the ball. Here comes Westwood now.
4, move! Matty, wait. Go 4.
2 months ago, remember, these two were expected to meet at Wembley for the Challenge Cup final. It would have been the first Challenge Cup final meeting in history between the two. It never happened, of course, and the grand final meeting, as a consolation for some, would not happen this year either. This is Toby King. These two will meet, though, for a place in the semi-final. That's good defence from St Helens. He had nowhere to go then. Bryson Goodwin.
Well, I think the important tackle in this set was the one prior to this. When you stop Mike Cooper or Chris Hill with the Wolves, that's an almost a win. You've obviously got to prevent them from offloading, which is where so many of Warrington's best tries come from. Hill or Cooper have 3 or 4 defenders around them, keep the ball alive and offload it. They control that play, and it makes the next one a much easier one. As Bodine Thompson, the physio's on to check his ribs. Oh, that looks painful. This will be a test if he can stay on for much longer.
Well, there's Joe Philbin, George King.
Oh! Ben Westwood's just welcomed James Bentley to the big time. Knocked him straight off his feet as he dropped the ball before, and it was Mike Cooper who ran at. Not sure whether he's lost the ball beforehand.
There's a hint of a shoulder charge in there as well from Ben Cooper, just in the background as well. Bodine Thompson still struggling from the after effects of contact he made. That's a rib or rib cartilage issue. They can stop you in your tracks. It's a real concern early on for the Warrington Wolves.
Not sure of the shoulder charge. It looked like a forearm smash from Mike Cooper. It really did. Either or. It was tough on the young man, but Warrington now in possession. And 15 metres away. Patton at dummy half goes to the right-hand side. Murdoch Masilla.
Oh!
Straight over the top of Matty Lees. Disentangles himself from Wilkin. Plays the ball. And Patton is going nowhere, so he'll stand and he will play the ball to Roberts. Roberts then gives it a bit of space and finds Brown. Brown to Ratchford. Ratchford to the number 18, Toby King. Saints defending well. Can they continue on here with Cooper? The boos from the St Helens supporters who are head on to that collision with young Bentley. Patton, Brown. Roberts slides the kick through. Regan Grace is there and will arm the ball dead because Charney was hunting right behind him.
Right, it's a good finish to the set, considering that Deck Patton took a run there from dummy half on the third play. Had the potential to really spoil a good attacking position for the Warrington Wolves. Why? Deck Patton's acting half. He gets caught in at the ruck. That forces one of your halfbacks, who generally will be sat 1 and 2 off the ruck, Tyrone Roberts, into the acting half position. It steals one of your biggest attacking weapons. They've got to be so smart about how they do that. It's a play to nothing, is that, from Deck Patton, and it forces their halfback into acting half position. So Tyrone Roberts, I think, has done extremely well in earning a repeat set from that.
Back they come, Warrington, from halfway with Westwood. Tell you what, there's some hits going in here. That was Matty Lees on Ben Westwood that time.
Oh, what were we saying?
And again, Eddie? Thompson on Hill.
Phony war.
Not a bit of it. Not a bit of it. Patton
oh, this is serious. Look, they've closed him. He's spun through the tackles. Oh, he's got him here. This is a terrible accident here on Tyrone Roberts.
Well, it's an absolute all-in war now. Phony, no. Definitely not.
Really significantly, Ben Barber, there was a fracas and a skirmish going off to the right of your screen. Ben Barber has gone straight to his opposition player, Tyrone Roberts, to try and assess and help if he possibly can. I'm not sure about the intent in there. I think it's Matty Lees or Luke Thompson who's come in, but he's really caught Tyrone Roberts badly here.
Well, Chris Kendall has got quite a little bit to sort out here as Roberts receives treatment on the ground.
Well, it is falling to the ground. It's a complete accident there.
He caught Matty Lee's thigh, knee, on the shoulder, neck.
There's an element of the reckless about it, though.
Oh, there isn't, John. He's coming up to make a tackle. He's you know, in a sport like this, accidents will happen occasionally. Just going to hope that Tyrone Roberts is okay. There were some positive initial signs there. The doctor seemed to...
I think the most important thing the referee's got to do here is just try and separate the two sides while he sorts this out, because there's a lot of finger wagging going on, and there's a lot of pushing, shoving, threatening in the action after all this.
The most important thing is that the referee creates an environment for the medical staff to do what's necessary here and calm the situation down around Tyrone Roberts.
Roberts fell in,
and his head, his neck does twist to one side very awkwardly. Luckily for us all, as we're just watching that replay, then there's some positive signs from Tyrone Roberts and the medics. He seems to be in a seated position at present.
It sparked a furious reaction from his Warrington Wolves teammates.
Remember, Matty Lees was sent off at Salford when we were there in April. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that Chris Kendall should go to the pocket and take a red card out here, but it's an element of concern for Stephen Price that Roberts is off for the moment under treatment.
I've got Matty Lees coming into the tackle recklessly, making contact with the head with the knee, so he's going to go to the sin bin. I'm also going to deal with Mark Percival for running in. He's also going to go to the bin, and so is Ryan Atkins.
Well, there's 3 players on the way to the sin bin here.
John, Chris, back up please. Chris.
Well, feelings are running very high.
Matty Lees.
Well, listen, I've never been a referee in my life, but that seems harsh.
Well,
that one seems harsh. And whatever happened after that, well, the referee then has to try and take charge of. That seemed a complete accident. Percival's next out.
The caveat to that is that there's a duty of care. I know this is a combat sport and it's a contact sport. There is a duty of care there to not injure and harm your opponent. Surely.
Do you know, if we need anything to pump up a game in 2 weeks' time to make sure everyone gets into that stadium, gets a ticket soon, this is it here now. Brian Carney.
Listen, Matt, no, listen. You both had time to talk. It's now my time to talk. Okay? The first man's gone in the bin for the first offence. Players Players running in, they've gone to the bin. No, listen. If players keep running in, then they're going to keep sitting down. Okay? It's going to be a penalty to Warrington.
Well, Brian Kennedy described this as an entree before it's the best possible entree we could have had here. We hope Tyrone Roberts is going to be okay. He seemed to leave the field. But it's got both sets of players really excited for this afternoon and just what it's going to do for that contest. The one that could put the winner in the grand final will put the winner in the grand final. Justin Holbrook down on the sideline now. He knows.
He's shaking his head.
You need to be aggressive, but you also need some control in this sport. He's got to find that balance now for his team and make sure the messages get out to them.
Well, for the next 10 minutes, Saints are 2 men down, Warrington 1 man down, so the space is all over the park here as Hill drives the ball in on the first tackle after the penalty. And that's Morgan Smith out there. Here now is Cooper. Cooper within 7 metres of the line. We'll delay him getting to his feet. Here is Patton. Short ball, Murdoch Masila on the charge. Johnny Lomax, what a hit from him. Forces the error, knock on by Murdoch Masila. St Helens survive.
Well, I'm looking at thousands of the Saints fans here who are jumping up and down as though the side have just won the grand final. To stop and deny Murdoch Masila there, there's real feeling and intent now in this contest. You thought before the match, does it really matter who wins? Well, look at what it's made here now to the Saints supporters. With 11 men, that takes some effort with the quality Warrington have to deny a try with 6 players from the line there. skillful players like Kevin Brown who can unlock a defence with defence. I mean, the spaces between the white shirts were 3 or 4 metres wider with the absence of 2 players. They had to cover the whole field.
Johnny, I'll tell you when.
And they've done well to survive that without conceding points.
Out.
Well, you would imagine that come Monday morning, the ticket offices of both of these clubs will be pretty busy with the semi-final due at St Helens on Thursday week. Because the opening quarter of an hour of this match has really, A, set up this contest, and B, set us up for what could be a firecracker. It's the 4th of October. It's Saints Warrington. You'll see it live, of course, on Sky Sports Arena at 7:30. That's the first of the 2 semi-finals, and place at Old Trafford at stake the following night as well. Wigan against Castleford, 7:30 then on Sky Sports Arena as well. Here goes Ben Barber, slips the pass on the brilliant water ball to Lomax. Nice ankle tap by Charnley. Hill finishes Lomax off. Last tackle coming up here for the Saints, down the short side. Richardson with the kick, and it bounces and bounces and finds its way into touchdown, that left-hand side.
My first reaction and instinct from that was that, oh boy, that's a conservative end to what was a really exciting piece of build-up play, but you forget St Helens down to 11 men. Look at the interplay here between Ben Barber, Zeb Taylor and Johnny Lomax. When they're on, they're really, really on, aren't they? Those 2 semi-finals, as you said here, are going to be real firecrackers. The players will be the stars on that occasion, and they've really done their work this evening in promoting what's going to be an exceptional first semi-final in a couple of weeks' time between these 2 teams.
Well, sport throws up the unexpected, and I don't think you'd have ever imagined to have 11 players out there at this point in time. 2-point lead, 50 minutes gone. The whole game's changed. Coaches and players need to read and react to a situation.
Charnley now for the Warrington Wolves. He's 9th on the Super League chart, is Josh Charnley, with 15 touchdowns this year.
Morgan.
And Morgan Smith, what a day to come in for him, and he gets the return pass from Westwood. Here now is Chris Hill. That's a lovely slip ball to Ratchford. Good work by Bentley, but too good because he couldn't get away. There were legs all over him. He couldn't get out of the way.
Well, Cooper and Hill's ability to offload is the key to potentially getting to the grand final. Both forwards have been contained. They've had 3 or 4 men on many occasions to stop the big front rowers for the Wolves. But there with just one defender, it shows how hard it is to stop.
Here come Warrington with Harvey Levette now. Morgan Smith is waiting at dummy half. Cooper will take the ball forward. And London are beating Salford 9-0 in the qualifiers. That's a good ball to Toby King. That's good defence from Tommy Makinson.
It's a great defensive read by Makinson, a trademark of his fantastic defensive winger.
Brown to Smith to Westwood. Morgan Smith goes one way, decides to come back the other, finds Deck Patton. He drops the ball off to Murdoch-Masila. Murdoch-Masila coming through again through Bentley. Can't get away from Thompson. Barber was there as well. And a bit of help from Morgan Knowles right on the line. It's Warrington. Brown, great defence. Brown keeps it going to Morgan Smith. He will kick across field. The ball is charged down.
And then goes backwards straight into the arms of Bentley. What an amazing defensive effort again from the Saints. I mean, aerobically they've had to work so hard though. They've got players like Bentley now gasping for Barber and Co. It's gone straight into the hands of Wilkin, but gone backwards.
Might have been a touch. Might have been a touch of a knock-on, maybe.
Huge protestations from Stephen Ratchford. He felt there was a knock-on there from Bentley. Just interestingly, with this St Helens defensive line, the extra spaces between the defenders, that's the first thing, Phil. The knock-on effect of that is your line speed disappears. You are concerned about where the space is inside and outside of you. Has a real effect.
And Richardson's kick for the sideline, or kick anyway, is fielded by Goodwin, and here come Warrington with Hill down the middle.
Well, that's twice in the opening quarter that Danny Richardson's failed to get that kick in. That's his responsibility. And it's put them immediately, the Warrington crowd are up for it. Another penalty. This will be amazing here if the Saints can hold out the Warrington side. Ratchford wants to go quickly, and Brown taps him play on.
So here comes Cooper on the charge. Gets the ball away. Smith, Brown. Brown gives it width and finds King. Morgan gets to him. Now it's Bryson Goodwin. Solid run from Goodwin and he's over the line, but I think Saints will hold him up. Chris Kendall is almost on all fours, and he says yes, he is held up.
Well, it's given them some valuable seconds here to get back. You see Goodwin, he doesn't want to allow the opposition here that moment to catch the breath. Straight into it, 4 men, 3 men around him.
Hill again, into centre field to Patton. Patton will find Ratford, man on the overlap is Charnley.
Oh, what a tackle!
Back it goes though to Ratchford, they've lost the momentum, and indeed Ratchford is dumped into touch. Try saver on that far side.
Stefan Ratchford, boy, he is a talented rugby league player. If he had his time against Steph Ratchford, he would have gone another 5 metres with ball in. And I think
tackle of the season for Regan Grace.
Tackle, there's no question about that, Phil, but it's an opportunity, and a golden opportunity missed by Steph Ratchford. Take the ball to the line, he's passed too soon. He's allowed Regan Grace to get off and meet Charnley head on. He needs to take another 2-3 metres out of that and commit Lomax, which would have brought Regan Grace in. Charnley over in the corner, golden opportunity missed. Tackle certainly of the game, Phil. I'll give you that one from Regan Grace, though.
Boys own stuff here for the Saints. They're being patched up to play on. What a fantastic effort. I mean, with 11 players, he must feel at times so lonely, the gap between him and any of his teammates, but got himself into the right place, bravely put his shoulder into the tackle, and they survive again here, maybe for another 60 seconds.
So Saints with a head and feed. Ryan Morgan trying to work this ball away from his end of the field. It was St Helens early. It's now Warrington who have been pressing and pressing. Remember, we've got 2 men down in the bin for Saints. We have 1 in the bin for Warrington.
Zebte has lost the ball.
There's a knock on.
That won't help, will it? Halfway through a tackle count, up on the halfway line. Maybe the arm came in as the tackle was made. We often see this deck pattern, swings the arm round there. Probably the right hand does make contact with it, but the referee says it's a knock on, you've lost the ball.
Head and feed to Warrington. Let's get news of Tyrone Roberts. Here's Angela Powers.
Well, we won't see any more of him in this game, Eddie. He's failed his concussion test, but the good news from the changing room is he is sitting up. He's looking compos mentis and looking okay, but definitely won't be coming on for the rest of this game.
So Warrington lose a key player, and I just wonder what the disciplinary will make of that. I mean, there are 2 views of it, obviously, and we've given you both of those views, but here is Stefan Ratchford, who slips as he went to meet Ryan Morgan. Kevin Brown, Harvey Livett.
Well, the Saints look like a boxer clinging on at the moment. All the punches being thrown by Warrington, but they're surviving on the ropes as Hill now takes them to line. Oh, Westwood's through.
He was, until Barber got hold of him. Here is Morgan Smith, this is Patton, Murdoch Masilla, down he goes again, tight to that St Helens goal line, quick play the ball, Patton bullets the pass to Smith, Smith will find Brown in centre field, he showed it to Livett, oh he fooled the St Helens defence completely then, and Brown goes over for the try. Warrington take the lead. He feigned to pass the ball to Harvey Livett. St Helens took the bait, and the gap opened up, and Kevin Brown got through it. 7th try of the season for Kevin Brown. He missed Wigan last week. It was his first miss in 19. He's back with a bang.
But they were looking to the most intelligent attacking player to find the gap, and eventually he did, didn't he? And 3 players around him to offer the support he needed. Held on to it enough, and then it maybe in some ways embarrasses Danny Richardson here. He's looking around to blame people, but once he stopped on the back of his heels, Brown started again, pressed the accelerator and had enough to get into the gap in the space. A try that the Wolves were desperate for.
It's so difficult for Danny Richardson in that defensive line. The voice in his ear from normally a metre inside him is not there. Don't forget they're down 2 men in the defensive line. He almost has to stop and break his stride, and that's enough for Kevin Brown.
And Jack Patton adds the extras. It's 6 points to 2 to the Warrington Wolves.
And as a consequence of those missing men who are about to rejoin the field, they've made the advantage count, haven't they, when it mattered the most, and just in time as well. Yeah, Danny Richardson, he has to at least break that defensive movement towards Kevin Brown and account for a potential ball back on the inside. It is magnified because of that lack of personnel in the Saints defence, and finally they get the breakthrough that the extra man, well, we all think should have provided.
Well, 24 minutes gone here at Warrington. They lead by 6 points to 2. If this is good, let's hope that Toronto and Widnes is equally so. This follows us at 5:15 on Sky Sports Arena. Toronto Widnes, a match Widnes simply have to win, otherwise they're on their way out of Super League and into the Championship next year. And Toronto, of course, want the win to make sure that they're here at places like Warrington and St Helens in 2019. Now it's with Kevin Brown. Ball back on the inside to Steph Ratchford. Ratchford has seen a gap and's gone for it. He has support from Patton. He takes on Barber. And then there are 3 reinforcements to come in and get Ratchford to the ground. It's the last tackle here for Warrington, is it? The ball is slid through by Patton. Oh, Ryan Atkins has come up with a touch he believes is absolutely crucial. And they have a try in the field by the sound of things.
Phil, it's tackle 5. I've got no try.
Oh, I'm sure he said we've got a try. Maybe the touch judge had a different view of it than he did.
Looks as though perhaps Percival managed to just push the ball over. If they don't get a try, I think they'll get the ball back with a goal line dropout. It's an excellent kick. They've lost Tyrone Roberts, who's brilliant in these attacking, kicking situations. Patton puts it in, and Percival's the shirt with a number 4 on his back. I thought maybe his right hand's the one that scoops it up and pushes it out of play. It's probably the referee's judgment, wasn't it? There's no downward pressure is on the ball. It's knocked away from the hands, and the Wolves, I think, will get the ball back again here and a chance to attack straight away.
And I'm almost sure it was the fact that there was a call from the sideline who said try that has made him hand this upstairs to Phil Bentham for his decision. But it's clearly a knock on, or rather a knock back by Percival, and it will be a goal line dropout.
But the last touch, has the last touch come from Ryan Atkins? Certainly that's the angle where we will determine that it's a no try. It's just how we restart this game now.
So it is no try. Atkins denied, despite the fact that he had wonderful celebrations in mind. It is a goal line dropout. And Percival saving a certain try there with that little push.
Well, the Wolves have been good, haven't they, in this game and this season at putting their opponents under pressure, getting repeated dropout sets like this. But are they good enough now against the team that are top of the table and unlocking that defence now against 13 players?
Percival's return from the sin bin at just the right moment then for St Helens. This is Westwood. Morgan Smith goes right and finds Patton. Patton with a good ball to Ben Murdoch-Masila. Smith again. Patton, the heart of everything at the moment. Dec Patton, he's found Livette. Harvey Livette will go to ground 5 metres away from the Saints line. Morgan Smith waits, gets it away then to Chris Hill. We got away from Morgan Knowles. Good job that Matty Lees was there. And it's with Patton again. Good touch by Lomax, but backwards.
Good save, yes. If you tuned in and watched the NRL game on Sky this morning, you might have seen the Sydney Roosters progress through to the grand final. Their goal line defence was outstanding when they were put under pressure, and St Helens have shown in a large part of this game so far just how good they are defending close to their own line, holding at this Warrington team and frustrating the Wolves a little.
Regan Grace with a little dash. Ben Barber behind him at dummy half. Gets the ball away to Makinson, and Warrington offside at the play of the ball.
It looks to be Ben Murdoch-Masila never even attempts to get back, and then he's near enough making contact in an offside position. The man outside him as well in an offside position. And that's a little bit of a pressure release foul for St Helens. It's an easy 20-25 metres and a restart of that tackle count.
And this is Luke Douglas, and there's Theo Farge. He finds Richardson, who finds Knowles, and Dominique Peyrou is back in action. He's missed the last 6 games as the man who's just played the ball. Matty Lees. Dumped to the ground by Westwood. 37 years of age, Ben Westwood, but he has all the enthusiasm of a first-year player. Really does put himself about. As Richardson gets it away to Barber again. Barber stabs the ball into the in-goal area. Ratchford's going to have to shuffle this one dead, and he does, because Regan Grace was closing in.
Well, that will help the Saints. You know, at this point in the match, Warrington have had 20 play the balls inside their opponent's 20-metre zone. The Saints have had just 2. You think they'll get some more here with this goal line dropout? 10 times as good, really, in terms of the territorial advantage they've had of being close to opponent's line. But it's not just about being near your opponent's line. You've got to get over it and put the ball down.
Well, they're locked in 4th in the table, of course, Warrington, after last night's events at Castleford. They will visit St Helens in that semi-final, so this is all about putting down a marker. And the one thing Warrington won't want to do is go to St Helens, having lost 3 to the league leaders this year. That's why there's such enthusiasm on show here this afternoon, and Warrington leading by 6 points to 2. Morgan Knowles now for the Saints, though, driving it into the 10-metre zone. Farge is waiting. Farge has a little scamper, then it finds its way on the ground to Richardson. Richardson almost gave himself up then. The referee did not blow for the knock-on. Allows the tackle count to continue. This is Knowles. It's the last one. It's with Richardson cleanly this time. Lomax. Wide they go to Percival. Percival off the outside of the boot. Ratchford with work to do. And Ratchford does really well. He gets the ball over that whitewash, the right side of the line.
Excellent at the back, Stephen Ratchford. It's a really well-weighted kick in the set before from Ben Barber. He gave it every chance, didn't he? Had to get rid of it, and he was there, Johnny, on the spot again. As Warrington are awarded a penalty, a little bit too much in the rug from Theo Farge. Charnley is a master at getting penalties from the opposition. He works so hard in the tackle. That back 3 for Warrington, really impressive.
So here come Warrington again with Mike Cooper now. Making a little bit of progress with back to the opposition. Smith again. Patton. Here comes Philbin, Warrington's super sub this year. The Irish internationals making his 32nd appearance of the year, each and every one off the bench.
Calm yourself down. Third. Move, Theo. Go, 3.
Morgan Smith again. Patton. Back it comes to Ratchford. There's Atkins.
4. Move, Theo. Go, 4.
Ratchford again to Patton. And this is George King.
Surrender, 5.
Last tackle coming up here for Warrington.
Go, 5.
Smith down the right-hand side. Patton hoists the kick high. It's a little bit long, I think, but Charnley does his best. But palms the ball back in field, straight into the arms of Johnny Lomax. Now Grace.
2. Move, George. Ben, come on. Go, 2.
This is the test here now for Jack Ashworth. The players to come on and make a difference. Nice offload to Farge.
Brilliant. Good ball then to Percival, but he wasn't going through Ben Murdoch-Masila without an argument.
And they haven't really got points and passes there with the
Warrington.
Saints. He's thrown a lot of passes, made some offloads,
Clear the ruck, then.
and they're really testing
Clear the ruck.
another penalty here. Not clearing the ruck up quickly enough. The referee's doing everything he can to speed up the game.
They're all offside down the right-hand side.
They've lost Tyrone Roberts and Kevin Brown, the Warrington Wolves at present. And that's something really, as you say, you've got to be prepared for the unprepared.
Surrender.
Luke Douglas lays the ball to Farge. This is Richardson, Jack Ashworth. They get to him very quickly. He saw the offload when he got the ball away just a few moments ago.
George, go, 2.
Farge again. Matty Lees for the Saints.
Third. Move,
Philbin and George
Mike,
King,
come
the
on.
2 substitutes, bring him down. 10 metres away from the Warrington line. Farge and Douglas. And Douglas spotted something, and he's trying to get the arms free, and he gets the ball down. He gets the ball down. They didn't deal with him properly.
Time off.
Chris Kendall's had a word with his touch judge on the far side.
Got a try.
They have a try on the field.
Just check grounding, please. Bro.
And if they're just looking at grounding, I don't think there's too much wrong with that, but we shall see.
Well, this will be a surprise. I mean, it looks as though the tackle was over. Everyone had lost interest, but not Douglas. He kept pushing, and Murdoch-Masila, I don't know whether he's done enough. Probably at that point, you'd have to say that's a try. Referee's done well. Not quite as well as Luke Douglas. The Saints supporters won't believe the luck here. They've been under so much pressure for half an hour, much as though they could possibly take the lead here if the try's awarded and the kick's converted.
Well, I think Phil Bentham's going to press the green light for a try for Luke Douglas. The try is given. He's come off the bench. And he has scored the try that draws the sides level, and the kick to come from Richardson. Saints might turn round with a slight advantage in 8 minutes' time.
Yeah, it's a real close quarter stuff from St Helens. An initial look for the offload, reversing into the tackle. That's almost lulled Cooper and Masilla into a false sense of security. Main threat is the ball, and Masilla fails to deal with that. That second effort from Douglas, who's been a real stalwart for St Helens this year. Puts them back into the lead, and the lead extended there by Danny Richardson.
Well, I'll tell you what is impressive. If you can lead or win a match when you've not been the best team, and for me, Justin Albrook's side, in terms of territory, possession, all of the stats that coaches and players talk about, the Warrington side have dominated, but the Saints side have what they have. It was a remarkable win in Perpignan, with the backs to the wall, and so far at this point to be ahead. I think this again shows there's a real character about this St Helens side this season.
Luke Douglas's third try of the season, but his previous two have both come against Wakefield Trinity. So new ground for Luke Douglas here this afternoon. Warrington will restart then with Ratchford. And 7 minutes to the break. Saints have re-established a 2-point lead. Oh, how about that for an offload? They really do take the game to the limit, don't they? Ashworth grounded by Philbin. Here comes the try scorer again. Solid run from him. Look at that. Zebtair now to the halfway line for St Helens. 3 tackles gone.
And there's an issue with the third ball player, Morgan Smith, in the background. He's come a cropper in that tackle. That second tackle, second hits up in the set from Luke Douglas.
Dominic Peyrou.
Nice feet.
Goes down, tackle number 5, just outside the 30-metre zone. Richardson's kick is high. Ryan Morgan's after it. Ryan Morgan got to it first, but he's knocked the ball on. They bring it back for the turnover on the 10-metre line.
Well, at least the Saints will be happy. They're getting the kick in and they're contesting it. They're making life awkward and difficult for their opponents to receive possession.
Well, it's their last away game of 2018 for the Saints here today. They lost at Wakefield on April the 5th, 20 points to 24. That has been their only hiccup on the road all year. Here, they concede a penalty.
Another one that John Wells made reference to. Lots of teams concede penalties when they're trying to tackle and control Josh Charnley.
So Warrington will come again from 10 metres inside their own half.
Can they look as dangerous without Chris Hill on the field? Obviously, I know they've lost the starting half-backs, but Chris Hill's so important. The Wolves need to step up the level as King now takes it forward in the replacement of Hill.
Bodine Thompson doesn't look terribly fit on this near side, as Cooper drives it into St Helens territory again, then gets the ball away to Declan Patton. Zebtair and Theo Farge deal with that particular threat. There is Smith. They go the short side with Ryan Atkins.
Moves, Dave. Come on. Hold.
Patton now once again. Livette. Oh, and well, the ball dropped in front of King. That's Toby King. Now all he could do was hack the ball forward. Fortunately for him, it landed the right side of the whitewash.
Well, they've all moved up quickly, haven't they, those white shirts? So it was a gamble. It was a risky play. They had to somehow try and find it to the outside, but he was never going to catch it. There was a lot of hope that he was going to kick it into the right place for his winger.
A team will train and prepare all week with a certain half-back pairing in mind. Well, plan A's gone completely out the window. Of course, we lost Tyrone Roberts on around the 14th minute of this game. Kevin Brown left the field as well. We now have Harvey Livette and Dec Patton in the halves. Dec Patton, of course, starting this game at hooker. This is plan B stroke C now for the Warrington Wolves. We're going to see just how good these guys are at adapting.
Makinson plays the ball. Here is Lomax. Tear gets so far. Just having a breather, those two, Kevin Brown, Chris Hill. As Douglas carts the ball forward again, almost to halfway. Farge once more. There's Ashworth, Richardson, and Peru. Leaves a few in his wake as well with the cut inside.
He's been a popular player amongst the St Helens supporters. Dominic Peru this season, they really enjoyed what he's done. That right centre position combining with Ryan Morgan.
Don't they offload the ball well, the Saints, in the tackle? This is Theo Farge now. And he goes down, accepts tackle number 5, so last one on the way here. Richardson with the kick, right-footed to the corner, looking for Makinson. Makinson's after this, but well claimed by Bryson Goodwin. Got quite a job on Bryson Goodwin when the ball's in the air to try and hold out Tommy Makinson this afternoon.
He's a skillful player, isn't he? A very powerful one as well, so he's going to get involved here now. The ball comes free and the referee is unsure what to do. He says play on.
Right decision there from the referee. Bryson Goodwin fully committed as well, wasn't he, to that take?
Murdoch-Masila playing as a winger.
Biggest winger in Super League, just held down on the halfway line. The ball rolls free, it's gone backwards.
Well, he definitely put the whistle to the mouth, did Chris Kendall, but then he got a call from this near side from the official, the linesman, the touch judge. He's just a bit pedestrian by Warrington across the face of that. Bodine Thompson now dummy half. It's Levette. High kick from him, high and deep. Barber in reverse. Inside the last 2 minutes of this first half. Makinson again. Philbin went for him. Atkins went for him. Murdoch-Masila got him.
What he does provide is that quick play of the ball. Regan Grace, well, he's made some good ground today. Dangerous and confident. And no doubt that tackle has helped lift his confidence for the contact part of the game. We know what he can do when he runs with the ball.
Percival slips as Joe Philbin came in. Theo Farge, here comes Ashworth. He brushes away from one tackle, still going, he brushes away from two. Support either side. He held on to it. If it had slipped the pass to Barber, he was in and underneath the posts. That's a try bombed, or is it? Lomax, Barber, Percival, Grace, try, wonderful. Marvellous stuff from St Helens. Looked like they'd blown it 100% down the middle. Had the pass been slipped to Barber, he was underneath the posts. Well, they don't dwell on their mistakes, they don't dwell on their errors, and they just ship the ball out wide, and Regan Grace gets over for his 15th try of the season. That was sensational.
Saints at the very best. At the very best. They split their opponents in the middle of the field. Jack Ashworth bounces through the first tackle of Smith, keeps going, and then you think it's a try for Barber under the post. For some reason, he doesn't pass the ball. But as you say, look how quickly they put themselves into the right positions here to attack again on the left-hand side. And Johnny Lomax, who's been brilliant this season, feeds Barber, who then feeds Percival, and Regan Grace walks in at the corner. It's brilliant play from a great team who are in tremendous confidence. Takes the pass, good catch with the one right hand behind him. And just before half-time, they extend the lead. What a first 40.
And what a tremendous try to end the first 40 minutes. They have looked a little bit off the pace in the past 4 or 5 weeks of St Helens, but here in the opening half at Warrington, well, they have weathered a storm. They've survived 2 in the sin bin. Warrington had 1, and they're going to turn round with a 6-point advantage at least. It could be 8 if Richardson kicks this conversion, and he hasn't. Great first half. Justin Holbrook would be well pleased with what he's seen. I don't think Stephen Price will be too displeased either. Remember, there were 2 in the bin for Saints, Lees and Percival. Atkins also for Warrington. Richardson gave Saints the lead 2-0 after 4 minutes with a penalty. Brown's try, converted by Patton, it was 6-2. And then since the half-hour mark, Saints have been rolling forward. Douglas's try, converted by Richardson, 8-6 to Saints, and Grace with that sensational score right on the stroke of half-time. 12-6 St Helens, the league leaders, half-time. Oh, it'll be 2 of 4, and these are 2 of them. Warrington Wolves 6, St Helens 12 in the dress rehearsal for the semi-final at half-time. But what a dress rehearsal it's been in the opening 40 minutes. Lots to talk about, lots to think about, and no doubt we will have more to come in the second half.
Well, Stefan Ratchford from the Warrington Wolves just had a quick word with the referee there, said we want quicker ball, play the ball. So now Johnny Lomax goes and has a similar word to the referee. I don't know if it makes any difference.
We want slower play the balls, did he say? Well, the two number ones have had their full penneth to referee Chris Kendall. He's checking his communication system is working a-OK. The batteries are well charged. The whistle is blown, and here we go. 40 minutes. It's a great kick-off. That's a great kick-off, but he does well. Philbin just manages to keep it in the field of play, and he drags it back for Warrington Wolves.
It isn't the first, it won't be the last time you see Danny Richardson almost embarrass teams, put so much of a spin and a swerve. It doesn't put the ball exactly where the opponents want it. His restarts are problematic for so many of the teams that Saints play against. They just about look they've kept that in play through Philbin.
George King goes down, will play the ball to Smith. Here is Mike Cooper. And there are a few members of both sides out of action today for one reason or another. But this is a full-blooded local derby, as it always is between Warrington and St Helens. Patton with a high kick on tackle number 5, the opening set of 6 of the second half, and they've all allowed it to bounce. The ball went backwards off Warrington, so Richardson has it back for St Helens. A hop, skip and a jump. He's gone in between a couple. He has the legs. Charnley's after him. Charnley's after him. Josh Charnley gets him and rolls him over the line. Tremendous tackle by Charnley. He's hurt. He has hurt himself. But that is a try-saver.
Unbelievable play, wasn't it, from Richardson there to catch the ball. I think he's been injured because of the number of Warrington players who rolled on top of him at the very end. He's got up and back onto his feet. Bounces up kindly for the halfback. Look at that acceleration, though, in between the two Warrington players. He goes away from Patton with the angle that Josh Charnley has. He tries to knock the ball out, then spins him over. His leg trapped under the body. First Thompson, and then I don't know whether there's any need for Patton to come in after the tackle. He's already out of play by this point. Probably a degree of the embarrassment by which one halfback's gone away from another. If this rolls on here, we'll see Charnley continue the tackle. He's out of play, and I don't really see the necessary reason for Patton to come in when he's already lining face down out of play.
Well, it was a tremendous run back from Charnley. He is obviously feeling the pinch. But a chance gone. And a try saved by Josh Charnley.
It's certainly too early to say that's a game-breaking moment, but what a significant defensive contribution from Josh Charnley. We're well aware of his exploits at the other end of the field with ball in hand. That's a massive, massive defensive contribution for his team.
Well, Tyrone Roberts, of course, off the field, and he won't be here in 2019 either, but his replacement for next season is... He's in the country. Blake Austin has arrived, and he's talking to Angela Powers.
Yes, he's with me now, Blake Austin. What are you making of Super League so far? Enjoying it?
Yeah, I sure am. It's a great atmosphere. It's a stadium that's right on top of the game. It's not something we're used to back home, so having a great time.
Oh, and it's a great lively game as well. You wouldn't think there's not much riding on this apart from pride and a bit of practice for a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, I think when you come out on the pitch, it's a game of footy, and you're going to leave everything out there. So it's been great to watch, and it's going to be a great match in a couple of weeks also.
You come as the marquee signing. There's much expected of you as well. What are you looking forward to, and why did you side Warrington?
Oh, I think Warrington's a great club. I've only been here a minute, and I can feel the professionalism. And I guess when I get here, it's going to be about finding out what the Super League's all about. I'm sure it'll be a slightly different style of footy. So, but I'm really excited for the challenge and can't wait.
We can't wait either. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing him next season, Blake Austin, under no pressure. Angela Powers' question: you are the marquee signing. What do you think we will expect to see from you next year? Well, Warrington will hope they will see some spectacular stuff.
I'll tell you what you will see. You'll see somebody who's prepared to do the unexpected. He's been exceptional at times for Canberra this season. He's no stranger to a bit of controversy himself, but he's a high caliber player. He's a runner. He's a running passer of a ball, if that makes sense, rather than being an out-and-out ball distributor. And it'll be sorely needed by the looks of it from the Warrington Wolves.
Wonderful analysis, John. Just analyse your career for us, would you, in two or three sentences?
Won't take long. Won't take that long.
Another good run from Matty Lees. Theo Farge.
He was a trier, Ed.
Who? Austin or Rose? Okay. Here is Zepter, but that's obstruction. He's gone running round and round in circles and has fooled everyone, including his own teammates.
Well, there's big debate and maybe could I say argument between the Warrington players. Some argument with the referee. They've questioned it and he said 10 more metres, that's descent. So surely not. But they're trying to pass that ball back onto the inside. It goes behind Ben Barber. The two players with the responsibility of organising Warrington's attack, Morgan Smith and Dec Patton, pointing and arguing with one another at present. They've only managed to score a try when they played against 11 men so far in this match. They need a better attacking strategy and execution here now.
And that's the difficulty, isn't it? Because the initial half-back pairing, there's a dominant half. This is plan B, plan C. There's no dominant call out there.
Ratchford stumbled into the challenge from Ryan Morgan. There's Bodine Thompson and Joe Philbin. Warrington not making too much progress in this set. 3 tackles gone, 15 metres, that's all. Can Cooper make some more? Down the middle. There was a little gap there, but it was quickly closed. They're 5 metres away from the line, though, now. As Cooper plays the ball to Smith, back he comes to Patton. Patton will find Murdoch-Masila. They go to him regularly down this right-hand side. But so far, St Helens have dealt with the threat. Patton will float the kick over the other side of the field now. Flicks off the fingertips, and Ryan Morgan got a boot to it, and it's a goal line dropout.
Well, the Saints players were hoping that the referee was going to say a knock-on from Warrington. They all up in the air, challenging for it. It goes through them, and eventually Morgan with the right foot puts it over the corner flag.
Time off, done it.
Good job he got a boot to it as well, because Goodwin might have got the touchdown there.
If you speak to my touch shoes, right, exactly. No, that's clear. That's right.
Well, obviously Danny Richardson has said something out of turn to the touch judge. Now had a word of warning from Chris Kendall. It's a goal line dropout anyway.
Okay.
And Richardson will take it. To Dec Patton. Joe Philbin will charge it forward. He's done that all year as well. Has Philbin. Irish international. Douglas is dragged off the grounded player. Here's Chris Hill back in the fray in the second half. Smith again, and Hill has twisted an ankle or something. Ratchford. Percival saw that pass coming to Ratchford, flew out of the line.
Well, Harvey Levette's the man now. They're hoping to get it to on the left-hand side. Here he is in possession, but again, they close him down so quickly, the Saints today.
He got away from Peyru. He couldn't get away from the next two, Douglas and Farge. Smith to Chris Hill. Back from Hill to Patton. Patton across the line again to Masila. He plays it into the hands of Ratchford. Takes the return. There's Ben Murdoch-Masila. Lovely ball out the back to Josh Charnley. A good defence again from St Helens in the shape of Zepter and Regan Grace. Patton off the outside of the boot, gobbled up by Lomax.
Good pressure by Jack Ashworth, number 21 for St Helens. He knew he had to get up. The last times you're forced to do a goal line drop out, the more chance you probably got of winning, and he knew he didn't want to get trapped in goal again. But just look, it's Warrington's turn now with this ruthless defence, making some good metres there. To get out, there's a psychological barrier with that 20-metre line. Once you get over it, in Saints are now, I think the defenders don't move up as quickly.
Yeah, it's certainly a target for opposition sides as well. You keep them inside the 20, you can really compress your defence, you can avoid sniping runs in behind the back of the ruck like that one, the ones that generate momentum for an opposition side.
Richardson gets the ball away. That was a good ball from Peyru, finds Ryan Morgan. Morgan will hack the ball forward, looking for Luke Thompson of all people. Stefan Ratchford did well.
And what was impressive for the Saints was how many people led in the centre of the field, chasing the kick back in field from Morgan. Just bounces kindly for Ratchford.
marker.
Move, Danny! Go
King played the ball. King will cart the ball forward.
for. Surrender!
And that's George. It was Toby who went down first of all. This Morgan Smith. Now it's with Dec Patton on halfway. He humps it high into the air, but Ben Barber's underneath it. There's no pressure on him either. Bit of a wasted kick, that.
One. Move, Chris! Back, Ryan.
Well, it's been a very fast 10 minutes almost. We get to 10 minutes of this second half.
Surrender!
Players can move at that pace, but now 1 or 2 start to tire, and that's what Makinson's hoping to find with that quick play the ball.
Chris!
George King did well, and Chris Hill. Here goes Luke Thompson again. Bumpers are up. He went straight into the chest of Bodine Thompson. He must have felt that, Thompson. As Richardson gets the ball wide to Ryan Morgan again. He cuts inside, does Morgan.
Move harder!
Richardson was looking for the return pass. He comes in the end from the dummy half, and he finds Farge, who gets it away to Lomax. Lomax will look for the runners. It's Barber. Murdoch Masilla's missed him. Here is Percival. Mark Percival. What a ball! What a ball from Mark Percival to Johnny Lomax. And Warrington, Bryson Goodwin, not happy with something.
Bryson!
But if you look back on that as a neutral, that was outstanding play. Absolutely outstanding play. The try's sure to be given.
I'm happy there's no foul play there, so I'm just going to
checking that there's no foul play as the ball was put down by Lomax. Otherwise it might have been an even more expensive try that Warrington has conceded. But that was sheer brilliance again from the Saints, and Lomax with his 17th try of the season. Enjoy it again.
Yeah, there's quality written all over this play. First of all, the spread on the last. Lomax out to Barber. That's that movement on the catch, his trademark. Percival was shown the outside, and then, boy, there's some cockiness and some arrogance, but some confidence about that ball back on the inside to Johnny Lomax, who follows up. It's that does it, that frees up Percival on the outside. What a ball back on the inside. Great work from Lomax, and that's where all the upset is about. Goodwin in late. An exceptional, that, Phil.
6 great passes out there here to put on possibly 6 more points on the scoreboard. Ben Barber there, look, there's no panic when they get into the attacking situation, and it's the class between the difference. The only difference between the two sides is the class in attack, their ability to offload and probably take a more risk. The Saints side so far taking a risk there, and it's clearly paid off.
17th try of Johnny Lomax's season. 17th try is a career best in a season for the St Helens standoff. And he's just gone through 500 points in Super League with the Saints with that try.
Well, I think Bryson Goodwin's a little fortunate. The referee hasn't said anything, as this kick now goes straight between the uprights. Goodwin's fortunate not to be penalised. Dec Patton was fortunate when he tackled Danny Richardson over the sideline. The Wolves need to be careful. I think referees and officials will be watching next week, and then in that playoff situation, late tackles.
Well, I hope that you're warming up for this, which is the semi-final Thursday week. St Helens will entertain this Warrington Wolves side. Thursday the 4th of October, 7:30, Sky Sports Arena. And the following night we'll find out who the grand finalists are, because Wigan will play Castleford, same time, same channel, on Friday the 5th. And of course it's all building up to the grand final itself, Old Trafford, October the 13th, a Saturday. And well, that's all I can tell you. We know 2 of the 4 will make it there, and if you want any more information, contact the Rugby Football League. There is their website. You'll find any detail you need apart from the names of the 2 grand finalists. We'll be able to tell you that at the end of the week after next. Here goes Morgan again, and they've got support either side. There's another 4-pointer on the way here. It'll belong to Danny Richardson. St Helens cut them to ribbons in defence. And they're delighted on the field, and they are thrilled to bits on the terraces. 2 tries in 2 minutes. From 12-6 up at half-time, it's 22-6 and a kick to come. Warrington being put to the sword in the last 120 seconds.
Well, we said before the game, there's a psychological war taking place. It's a war that's being won by the side with white shirts. Look, they've just got the players in the wrong places, and then their ability to convert a break into a try set them apart from the rest of the Super League for so much this season. They've faltered for the last few weeks, but that is the Saints at their very best again. Bang, bang. We'll see you off here now. We're going to score 12 points in just over 2 minutes, and then we're going to make the task even harder because they were already under pressure, Warrington. But what this does to them psychologically is they stand behind the support of their post, listening to their opposing supporters sing and celebrate. Significant moment here now in the season. Richardson salutes the crowd.
And it's a real return to form for St Helens as well. And that man, Danny Richardson, he scored the try. I think he created that as well. I think his snap pass on the outer to Ryan Morgan was a result of spotting Toby King leaving that defensive line on the left edge for the Warrington Wolves. A reactionary play that's resulted in a try 80 metres further down the field. Brilliant stuff.
Remember what Wigan did to Warrington at the Magic, and remember what Warrington did to Wigan in the Challenge Cup a few weeks later. So don't be counting your grand final chickens just yet, St Helens.
Be fascinating though. This is quality, isn't it, from Ryan Morgan? So much this season people have talked about Mark Percival, the class that they have in the left centre position. He makes that look very easy. I mean, he's travelling at speed, carrying the ball, delivered a great pass. And I mean, I remember him sitting there, was it 13th, 14th minute when they had 2 players sent to the sin bin. It looked like it was going to be a completely alien event, really, for the Saints, but they've managed to gain control, recover from what was a shock, and extend to an 18-point lead.
And something else that St Helens should bear in mind, and if you look in the history books, go back to 2005. Do you remember when Hull came here to Warrington? Joey Jones was playing then for the Warrington Wolves. Warrington beat Hull easily on their own ground. And up at Hull, it was 16 points to 30. The following week, back they came, and Hull won 40 points to 6 in a playoff. So history can sometimes turn itself upside down. And here is Regan Grace, but at the moment, Saints are completely dominating this. But it can be turned around very quickly, can't it?
It can be.
Fortunes in sport.
Can Warrington turn this situation around? 18 behind. We know that we've just got to recover here, hold out, and work the way back into it. There's a long time left in the match.
Lomax, back it comes to Barber. Barber gives it to Percival again. And Percival is held. And the referee held this side of the goal line, so he'll play the ball there to Barber. And that's Douglas. Lomax again, slides it through side-footed.
Surrender.
Well watched by King.
Oh, he's had to commit to that as well. It's a difficult skill, that. The grubber kick through. Been well cleaned up, and it needed to be picked up cleanly as well. Some respite now, if only for a short period of time for the Warrington Wolves, and there's a head injury. It's an awkward coming together between Warrington player and Dominic Peyroux. I'm trying to see who that is. That Toby King. Just, I think he slips as he goes down and connects with the knee of Dominic Peyroux.
So there'll be a break in play here. Bravery, though, from King. But 2 tackles gone, and they're very close to their own line. But do you remember that 2005 season, Joey Johns? It was all about him. Warrington went up to Hull. They won easily. Then Hull came back here, and it was all turned around in the playoff.
I think this St Helens side have rediscovered a little of that early season form. There's been a wobble lately. There are players wrapped up in cotton wool today.
A few stars on the sideline. John Wilkin right at the bottom of your screen. Kyle Amor. And James Roby. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. All waiting to return to the fray.
Some fantastic eyeliner for Kyle Amor as well there.
You say, what's he done there?
Maybe a broken nose has given him 2 black eyes as he slips here.
Oh, there might be a broken nose and 2 black eyes there for Toby King.
We'll see him in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, he might have the same look as Kyle Moore. Warrington need to dig themselves out of a hole at present. We know that really when they have Darrell Clark supporting Chris Hill and Mike Cooper, they are a different side. That's their strongest suit. It's the greatest threat that they've got against teams. But without them, what else do they have?
Well, we'll find out maybe in a fortnight's time. They've still got Ben Westwood, certainly. Wanted to get up and play the ball quickly. And the rules state, I think you've got to regain your feet before you put the ball on the ground and play it. This is going to run dead in goal. Oh, now then, that's interesting. Did that hit the whitewash? Because if it didn't hit the whitewash, that ball wasn't dead when Makinson picked it up.
Let's go. 0.
Well, the referee and everybody else seemed to want to get on with it that quickly.
Fair enough,
They knew it was going to go dead. I agree with you. I didn't think it had bounced. Yes, it has.
It does, yeah, it does. Tommy Makinson knew what he was doing, even if I didn't.
Surrender! That's 1.
St Helens clearly know what they're doing here this afternoon. Their defence have been fantastic. They've frustrated Warrington, and then
2.
the selection of when to offload the ball and when to spark forward has been superb.
London still hanging on against Salford, the leaders of the qualifiers. 11-4 now. London Broncos leading. And if Widnes beat Toronto after we have finished here, the cap will be amongst the pigeons in those qualifiers, if that result stays the same. It follows us, Toronto and Widnes. It's coming up next. Fascinating match and a vital match for Widnes. Here's Barber through a hole. Theo Farge is there. He's got away from a couple, though. You don't need it. Ben Barber doesn't need any help. And Ben Barber, probably here with Tom Johnstone out for the rest of the season at Wakefield, has probably wrapped up the top try scorer in the Super League 2018 title. That's his 25th try of the season. One more than Tom Johnstone of Wakefield. More importantly, St Helens have a 28-6 scoreline here. Try number 25, and Ben Barber will probably win Super League's top try-scoring award in 2018 now.
The easy comment to make about all this: they are world-class individual players. Look at the balance, look at the speed, the evasive skills. It is so much more than this with St Helens. It's the lines of running, the execution, the timing of the pass. Lomax is on the outer, he's on his left foot, fires the ball back into Ben Barber. Look at the pass selection, the timing. It's outstanding. Splits the markers, does enough. Theo Farge is involved in there in committing the markers. And Ben Barber, who's coming for some criticism of late for a dip in form, a quite obvious dip in form, is obviously very pleased with himself there.
It looks like it's going to be St Helens Day. We ought to have known it was going to be St Helens Day. 18 years ago to this very day, it was the wide to west St Helens try that beat the Bradford Bulls 16-11 in the playoffs, the 22nd of September, the year 2000. 18 years ago today. I can't believe it. Richardson has missed with the conversion, but it's still 28 points to 6.
Well, it's unlikely they're going to need any of that drama in the dying seconds of this match here today. They've got complete control, and the more games you watch now, teams are passing the ball out to the outside, then back to the inside, which was what allowed Ben Barber then, wasn't it, to catch some defenders. And people say about Ben Barber, it's his strength, both in the gym and on the field, that sets him apart from so many others. Ben Westwood's a pretty good defender, and yet he couldn't really make a dent on him when he hit him with all of his weight and strength. Ball tapped back now. They've not given it up here. Eventually, 22 points behind, they've decided we're going to contest a restart.
Stephen Price was watching on as that restart was taken from his perch high up in the stand opposite. Doesn't show too much emotion. His thoughts, I think, will already be aimed at Thursday week in the semi-final at St Helens. We'll be looking in the next 20 minutes or so at something that he might be able to just switch around and change for that big test to come. Here is Atkins now, just as he did after the Magic Weekend hammering by Wigan. And then a few weeks later, Warrington beat Wigan and knocked them out of the cup and nilled them as well, which was a remarkable effort. Here's Mike Cooper. Stands, gets the ball away to Patton. Running laterally. Now he straightens it up, goes for Richardson, who stands his ground.
5. Move, Danny! Wait, Luke! Wait!
Toby King waits.
Go, 5.
Assesses the situation both ways, comes into centre field, finds Harvey Levett. This is a long high kick looking for Charnley. Charnley palms it down to Atkins.
Okay.
Atkins drops the ball under pressure from Regan Grace.
Stand!
Well, you go away from this match at the end and remember the spectacular tries, and several of them that St Helens have scored, as you see the Salford side get a little closer to London. But St Helens' defence was frustrated and denied Warrington so many chances. Now they conceded a penalty, perhaps another mark of the frustration. You go back to that victory of Warrington over Wigan. I think it was arguably Tyrone Roberts' greatest game in a Warrington shirt. Now they'll be hoping that he passes any head injury assessment, any tests or checks that they do on the knock that he took in this game, because they'll certainly need him in 2 weeks' time.
I think he might struggle for next week, but he should be okay for the semi-final, shouldn't he?
We hope so.
Ryan Atkins, 10 metres.
Well, Warrington have previously won all 3 in the Super 8s here at home, and they're unbeaten in front of their own fans in the last 5. Last time they were dropping a point was when they were held at 22-all by the Catalan Dragons here.
4. Move, Harvey. Go 4.
That was way back in July. So they've been fed on a diet of success, the Warrington supporters lately, on this ground, the Halliwell Jones Stadium. This is Lomax. Oh, he's gone inside Hill. Here they come again. Lomax gets the ball away, picked up by Morgan Knowles off the ground. Oh, and it's a gift. It is a gift almost for Toby King. And it was an important tackle that was made. That's a penalty, though, because Ryan Morgan couldn't get out of the way.
Well, for a moment you got the sense there was another spectacular St Helens try coming along. They cut them up so easily in the middle, didn't they, on the last play. Lomax charging downfield, but couldn't find enough support out on that right-hand side.
Patton just drops the pass off to Philbin. Do you get the sense that Warrington have waved the white flag here now today, and they too are thinking about next week and the week after?
No, it's a very difficult one for them. I was just thinking to myself,
maybe not. Here's Charnley. Tries to go inside Regan Grace, who's done a pretty good job defensively today down this left-hand side for Saints. Regan Grace.
Just thinking to myself, which is a bad thing to do as a commentator, isn't it? But
well, if you think to yourself and then tell everyone what you're thinking about, yes.
Well, here we go. I'm going to give it a try very quickly. What damage this has potentially done to Warrington Wolves' confidence? Because yes, it means nothing in terms of who meets who and when in the semi-final in a fortnight's time, but it does in terms of that psychological edge, what we've been discussing all afternoon. And first blow landed by St Helens. How will they react? How will they respond?
If they don't score again, they might get PTSD here, because they've been embarrassed. They've scored against 11 men so far, but can't find a way through this St Helens defence.
Well, the Saints have been the most consistent side all year. They made their feelings known with a 46-6 win against Castleford in round 1. That was the first of a 5-match winning sequence at the start of the campaign, and they've never looked back from that day, really. This is Chris Hill now, smuggles the ball back to Cooper. Mike Cooper is halted by more rigorous defence led by Wilkin. Philbin, Patton, crossfield kick, knocked on by Toby King, so Makinson will respond. Here he comes, Tommy Makinson. Good tackle Ratchford needed to be.
Well, they just cannot find a way through St Helens. There are no gaps as Bentley now back on the field. He's busy and energetic at the start.
Did you catch the fact that London have beaten Salford in the qualifiers? 11-8 the final score.
That's a huge result for the London Broncos.
It's a massive result for the qualifiers.
All manner of pressure on the teams in and around them.
Well, this could be vital, London and Halifax next week. Here goes Toby King, meanwhile. He's going to get in there on the far side with Barber chasing him down. Barber doing well, actually, to keep him out wide. King would have loved to have got that back under the posts and maybe spark a big revival with 15 minutes still remaining. But Barber kept him out on the far side. So Toby King for Warrington after that error by Richardson.
Well, they've shown that they've got some speed out wide in the centres. He's been picked ahead of Bryson Goodwin, who plays on the left wing. Bounces up kindly for him. Clean pair of heels, clean run to the line. Just something to restore some confidence and belief amongst the Warrington fans anyway.
He's a very much improved player as well. He's certainly gives Steve Price a selection headache a fortnight from now. You would expect Lynham, I think, to have completed his suspension by then. He would retake his place.
That's subject of an appeal, isn't it, next week, the whole suspension business?
Yeah, it's a really interesting time, whether they indeed go for an appeal.
I think they're thinking of, because it's next week, isn't it? And if it's 2, that's the grand final gone. Interesting times. Patton hasn't added the extras. 28-10.
He's got Ryan Atkins and Toby King and Bryson Goodwin really to fit into two available positions. In reality, you'd want your strike centres playing in their right positions. Bryson Goodwin's a capable deputy on the wing, but he's been an exceptional centre. You know, a real selection headache for Steve Price, regardless of what happens to Tom Lynham.
Man of the match time. You can have your say shortly on who is going to go home tonight with the silver and the money for their chosen charity. You do it via the hourly gap, as always this year. And the lines will be open on the hourly gap very shortly. We'll give you the names of the 4 men who have caught the eye of our watching rugby league legend, and then you can get on the hourly gap on your mobile devices and make your votes.
Well, a strong finish is essential now for Warrington. They'll not be strong enough probably to win this, but Ryan Atkins and co. Oh, they're through the line.
Yes, and away he goes, long striding. He's got Patton with him, he's got Raxford with him. He might go the wrong way here. Barber's got to him. He's kept going, and that's a great run. They're within 5 metres. It has slipped the pass to the left-hand side, and they were over under the post with Patton. As it is, Patton fires the pass to Levett. And here is George King. And he runs the ball in. He'll play the ball to Smith. It's Patton again. Saints defence is Marshall. Charnley is underneath this. No! Does he get the ball down, or has he dropped it? Charnley has stayed on the deck.
No try.
And by the sound of things, they've got no try on the field.
I've got no try.
Well, it looked to the naked eye as though Charnley had actually knocked on, didn't he? Got up above Grace. But I think his hands hit the ball forward. It was my first viewing from this position, about 50-60 metres away. They slowed it right down to try and see. Well, you can't see in that shot whether he's behind. He probably was, yes, as they bring it wider. But he seems to lose possession before he puts it on the ground.
Great catch.
Does it come out? I think it's out there at that point, isn't it?
There's actually Regan Grace's left arm involved in this that may well have forced that ball loose, or at the very least frustrated Charnley's attempted catch and put down.
Looks like a knock on in the in-goal area, doesn't it? Rather than in the field of play, which will alter how we restart the game.
Tries denied by Phil Bentham.
Start with a tap on the 20-metre line rather than play the ball just 10 metres out.
Caught it well, but you're right, John. It's that left arm, the left trailing arm of Regan Grace that just did enough. 2
really significant defensive contributions for the man with the ball. Again, you know, electric and yardage meter maker for St Helens. But remember that crucial tackle in the first half on Charnley, his opposite number, and then again there, which has denied a likely try, albeit probably in vain this afternoon for Warrington Wolves.
Westwood is fighting for the ball, but Saints get rid of it under pressure. Here comes Luke Douglas, and here comes the Saints supporters with their war cry, their battle cry of when the Saints go marching in.
Surrender! Stand!
Remember, traditionally and more often than not, the top 2 do make it to Old Trafford, but Warrington and Castleford will have lots to say about that in the semi-final the week after next.
Long kick from Lomax, and Charnley will be under this. You know, going back just a few moments ago, that break by Ryan Atkins was significant. We hadn't seen a lot of him from an attack. We haven't seen a lot of threats from Warrington attack, but he managed to cut through the Saints line. St Helens again denied the try, but they need more attacking threats. Goodwin now attempts to provide that with a bullocking run in the centre of the field.
Ratchford takes the ball forward. And here is a penalty against Warrington.
Well, that's a really literal interpretation of what's gone. I've seen referees before acknowledging that someone like Ratchford hasn't heard the held called and just asking to play the ball again. I think that's a more common sense approach. That's a really literal interpretation of that rule.
That's a big change, because that has just been said, go back and play the ball, because you didn't
But
hear
I
me
agree
all
with that, because
season.
that to me is playing to the rules, John, rather than playing to made-up rules for under-7s.
Well, it's a full house for Saints as possible man of the match contenders. Percival, Grace, Lomax, Barber. I don't think any of us would argue with any of those choices. You can have your say now via the R League app.
I'd say where's Danny Richardson? I'd say that. He's had an outstanding game.
Only be 4 names. Only be 4. And in answer to your question, he's just wandering up behind this drive-in from Luke Douglas.
Third, move, go wide, Mike, go wide.
Back he comes to Richardson. There's Barber. And no way through for Ryan Morgan. Toby King and Harvey Levett sorted that. Makinson, backing himself, goes down tackle number 5.
Go 5.
There's Wilkin. Back it comes to Barber with space. He saunters towards the Warrington defence. Then he picks up pace away from 4 or 5. Dumps the ball over the top. Knowles finds Makinson. Makinson flings the ball back wildly. Knocked on though by Wilkin. Wilkin says, I was facing my own line, so it wasn't a knock on. Chris Kendall says, oh yes it was.
They've tried the spectacular again. Does the ball go forward into his body?
It's a fumble. It's a fumble these days. It's a knock on. It's a respite for Warrington anyway. 9 minutes to go.
Get close, please, John. Wait. Off we go, Chris.
Well, the Wolves here now looking. Chris Hill pretending to play the ball. I don't think they're allowed to do that either in the rules. See Ryan Atkins coming back in to get more involved. You know, he's missed the last part of this season. He's a potential game winner in the big matches. He has got the knack of getting over the line. Getting the ball down and scoring, though, is what they need to do with him more often. Goodwin now again charging forward.
All three, again, we'll go back to that same point. All 3 centres, King latterly, the man playing the ball, Bryson Goodwin and Ryan Atkins, very physical centres.
Nice movement there from Warrington.
Really difficult to put down. And it's and exceptional foils for people like Stephen Ratchford as well. Maybe affords them that extra metre on the ball because defensive lines know what a threat those 3 quarters are.
That's the framework for Warrington's success in 2 weeks' time. There's a bit of push and shove going on. Cooper and Hill offloading the ball, and Darrell Clark with his speed going straight down the middle. Still got an ace to play, the Wolves.
Levett with the deep kick. Makinson's underneath it. Makinson was almost through. Important grab of the shorts by Ratchford and finished off by Westwood. Here's Regan Grace.
2. Move, Chris. Wait back. Go.
Richardson. Percival. Good effort in defence this from Warrington with the game gone. Morgan Smith almost conceding a penalty. Here goes Matty Lees again.
Move, George. 10 metres. Go 4.
10 metres inside their own half. Wilkin carts it forward. Finds Lomax. Good ball again.
Still 4.
That was to Bentley. Comes on the bounce to Percival. He goes inside a couple. He goes away and then gets the ball back to Theo Farge. Still the 4th tackle. Still the 4th tackle. Still the 4th tackle. Morgan Knowles. Now it's tackle number 5. 20 metres out. Down the short side goes Lomax. He finds Ashworth. Ashworth into the in-goal area, and that'll be a 7-tackle restart for Warrington.
Well, the Saints know, don't they, to keep it alive. Theo Farge has looked dangerous in the middle of the field against the bigger gaps and the tired defenders. When they've offloaded the ball, it's been very effective for the Saints.
0. Move, John.
It's got a strong squad is what you need, isn't it, to win it?
Well, they have remained reasonably fit throughout the course of the year, the Saints. It'll be a record 25th win of the season here for the club in a Super League campaign.
Well, they've been a consistent club, haven't they, in the Super League era. If they make it to the grand final, will that be their 11th in 21 years? You know, that's incredible achievement. The best clubs have got the best decision makers on and off the field, and St Helens, from the chairman right down, the coach and all of the players, have made excellent decisions over a number of years, and it's put them in a prime position here now with a home game in 2 weeks' time to walk out at Old Trafford and lift the trophy that they haven't done for almost 4 years.
And on 4 of the previous 7 times that they have ended top of the tree, they have gone on to win the grand final. 10 of the 20 table toppers have won at Old Trafford in grand final history. So it was important, first of all, to make the league leaders shield their own, which they've done, and then they've got, of course, the home semi-final. And if they get the odds, the history books, the omens are with them.
Well, certainly under the current system, there's never been a side who's finished outside the top 2 after the completion of the Super 8s campaign that hasn't contested a grand final. So for either Warrington or Castleford to reach a grand final, that's going to involve a rewriting of the record books before the system is shelved.
Indeed. And of course, the last 2 table-topping teams have failed to win on grand final night. We all look for little nuances and little bits of pieces of history. And here is a little bit more history for Ben Barber. It's his second try today. He just tiptoed through the Warrington defence. And he has put the issue well and truly beyond doubt. And I doubt that he will be caught at the top of the Super League try-scoring charts now. 26 for the season. Not as spectacular and as plentiful as Greg Eden last year, but just the same. He's come back with a bang.
And just as important as well for this St Helens side. You know, what a signing he was, the middle of last year. Remember seeing him at the Magic Weekend, and we were trying to second-guess which club he was going to be joining. Well, it was the St Helens, and they have been a major beneficiaries. One of the global rugby talents. He's had an admittedly a lull in form midway through this season, but boy, he is electric at his best. And if this is the final year that St Helens get to see Ben Barber in that famous red V, then they'll all be saying, let that be at a grand final, and let that be watching this man do what he does best.
Well, as you say, we were discussing where he would be ending up last year's Magic Weekend, and we're all debating and wondering and scratching our heads where he'll be in 2019. Will he be at the Saints, do you think, as Richardson plonks 2 more points on the scoreboard for St Helens?
Well, the rumours a long time ago were initially a return to Cronulla. The more recent rumours surrounding this man have been up to North Queensland, with some kind of convoluted player swap going on in 2020 as a knock-on effect of that. I think St Helens will do very well to retain his services, but look, the fans, they're cheering what's happening today, and that's another fantastic team performance with a sprinkling of superb individual talent.
Well, they've knocked so many of their opponents out this year, not with punches, but with passes. And if you look at the try that they just showed, short passes, don't need to be long, spectacular ones, having enough players in the right position, and they've proved, haven't they, there with that attacking threat here, knockdown, wanting to get the ball back again, and Levesque goes on. But the passing game, no team have thrown more passes in matches this season than the Saints, and they've done it to great effect.
Well, Stephen Price will look back at the earlier matches, I say, this season, where his team were put to the sword by Wigan at the Magic, and he came back and he engineered that 23-0 victory in the Cup. It's a similar situation he's got to come back from this time round. He's got to try and do the same again in a fortnight, but this time at St Helens.
He has here, he's open now again though. Just look at the defence. The decision-making from the wide defenders that St Helens have, the wingers and the centres, has been first class today.
If I give Warrington fans some hope for that semi-final, and they will have confidence in their team.
Good hands, Bryson Goodwin. Oh, a spectacular leap. And it's going to be checked. It's going to be checked by Chris Campbell. It's another decision upstairs for Phil Bentham.
Tackle 3. I've got to try.
Well, Bryson Goodwin's finish there is acrobatic. It's what we've become accustomed to, isn't it, from wingmen in the modern game.
And he's a centre playing on the wing. Nothing wrong with that.
And he's actually shifted
Oh.
it.
Oh.
He's actually shifted that from his left arm to his right arm, counterintuitively, to make sure that he's got a chance of getting that down.
And he has got it down, but it's on the line.
Is there no contact?
Does
with
the first
point
part of the ball hit the ground first,
there.
probably before it hits the line, Eddie?
I give that a try. On that frame there, I give that a try.
I think it is a try. It's a shame, isn't it? It's so spectacular that it won't really make much difference here today.
But he goes home with a good memory. Bryson Goodwin. Bryson Goodwin with the try. It is consolation and nothing else, but it's his 12th touchdown of the season.
And it is consolation. And to complete the point I was making before, as Dec Patton attempts, slips and misses the conversion, is that the Warrington Wolves, I think the returning Darrell Clarke, and this is a big statement to make, has more of an impact on the Warrington Wolves these days than James Roby does on St Helens. Now, that's not to undersell what James Roby does for St Helens. I think the Warrington Wolves really, really suffer when Darrell Clarke's not playing in the hooking position for them.
That's a huge call, John. I can hear.
I'm not saying one's better than the other.
The roars of disapproval from St Helens right now.
I'm not judging the players against one another at all. I think James Roby these days has played less of a part. He plays less minutes. He's still a talisman for the team. But I think Darrell Clarke missing from the Warrington Wolves is a bigger loss than James Roby missing from St Helens.
All Justin Holbrook needs to do now is to cut that out of the commentary and play that to James Roby for the next 11 days and look out in the semi-final.
It's been an entertaining game, hasn't it? And it's been a really entertaining game.
Changing tackle
This is,
completely. Yes, it has. It has. And it's a great advert for the semi-final to come. It really is.
Isn't it?
It's had everything.
And we were all driving here to the game today, to the Halliwell Jones Stadium, wondering what was going to be served up for us. Well, I think it's been a high-quality game. There's been plenty of risk taken. There's been the odd skirmish, the odd handbags, a little bit of controversy, but I think more important than anything else, some great displays of skill, both from a team point of view and some individual contributions that will be remembered for weeks.
Well, we're in the last 20 seconds of the match. That's a nice little inventive kick over the top. Ratchford couldn't take it in. It's zero tackle. Here's Jack Ashworth. St Helens probably going to end up with the ball in hand at the end of this game. Richardson's kick is palmed out and over the line on the far side by Bryson Goodwin. There goes the final siren, and Justin Holbrook's 50th match in charge of St Helens has ended in victory. They were 12-6 up at half-time. They kicked on with 2 tries in 2 minutes at the start of the second half from Lomax and Richardson, and then we got 2 from Ben Barber, one on the 57th minute, one on the 76th. Toby King and Goodwin added tries for the Warrington Wolves, but it was purely consolation at the end, and St Helens have struck the first blow in the psychological battle that will lead us up to the semi-final on Thursday week. The Saints have won by 34 points to 14. Ben Barber's 2 tries, but there have been some spectacular scores that we have enjoyed here at the Halliwell Jones Stadium this afternoon.
Yeah, you're certainly right. Even as far back as Kevin Brown's individual effort, albeit in defeat for the Warrington Wolves in that first half. Regan Grace just before the stroke at half-time, some superb handling from Lomax to Percival to Grace to save Jack Ashworth's blushes just before that half-time. And then again, 2 really individual efforts from Ben Barber, but it's more about the team. It's the way they set up, it's the lines they run, it's the timing of the pass, the communication, the telepathy between players at times. You know, it's exceptional stuff, top draw stuff.
Top draw stuff indeed. And St Helens have now won 48 of 63 against Warrington over the past 23 seasons in the Super League. Warrington have only got 14 wins, but they need a win in a fortnight. Well, we're going to say farewell to our viewers on the Main Event channel now, because coming next, it's Queen's Park Rangers against Norwich City from the EFL Championship. That's on the way next on Main Event. And here on Sky Sports Arena, we continue to look back on this match that St Helens have won. We knew that the 4 contenders for the Man of the Match award on the hourly gap were all with the red V on their jerseys, and there he is. Johnny Lomax is Man of the Match here, the Betfred Man of the Match after Warrington Saints, and he's talking to Angela.
There's your silver salver, Johnny. What a game, what a great performance as well. Team performance from St Helens tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think we needed a team performance. When we went down to 11 men, and obviously Warrington went to 12 men. It was taxing on the lungs, and the lads kept turning up for each other and having that energy, and largely games are decided on that.
That was a special try you scored as well. Fantastic pass from Percival as well.
Oh yeah, I think I passed it to Benny, and then him and Percy, bit of magic, and obviously Percy's flick, he's got that ability, he just does things, and I don't think he always knows what he's doing, but God, he can play, so he's great.
You must have known what he was going to do. You must practice that because you were right place, right time.
Oh, that's what I mean, you just got to follow him because you never know when he's going to produce the ball for you, and thankfully for me he did, and I popped over for the 2-yard try, so it was lovely.
You mentioned a little bit about the sin bin. There's a bit of a fisticuffs going on there. You could tell there was a lot of passion in this game.
Oh, definitely. It's at the end of the day, it's a local derby, isn't it? And I'm sure it'll be no different in 2 weeks' time. That there'll just be that bit more added pressure, and maybe that bit more passion. It'd be difficult to match that, but it was a great game, and it was a game that could have gone either way when it was a bit in the balance, and thankfully for us we got 2 quick fire tries, and that kind of sealed the game for us.
Well, it was Saints at the best, and there you go, £250 to the charity of your choice. Where's it going to go?
Cheers. It'll go to Run With George, please. It's linked to All the Hay. So.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Johnny. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We've got your teammate now, Ben Barber. He's shaking hands as people go off the pitch. Come on in, Benny. Another 2 tries for you. The magic is back.
Oh yeah, it's finally good to get one again. It's been a tough couple of weeks, months for myself, but look, it was a great effort from the boys today. We came here with a job to do. We spoke about finishing off. These games really don't mean anything, you could say that, but we wanted to prove a point today. Unfortunately, they lost their halves before half-time, and credit to the boys, we come out and went on with the second half.
What does this tell us about what you're going to expect in 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, look, I guess we're building. Obviously now we've got them guys in 2 weeks now, and look, we had some guys, still some important guys sitting on the sideline today, and it was important just to keep this roll on and keep working hard. I think I credited the young boys last week. I think they did a wonderful job, them young kids that come in and they're playing their second or third game for the year and doing a job. So it shows the spirit we have in this squad, and I think a lot of people have been writing us off these last couple of weeks with the losses we've had, but we know what's going on inside the walls in our sheds, and we'll just keep carrying on.
Joy to watch as well. You must have been a joy to play in.
Yeah, it is. These games are always wonderful, especially playing away against a good side like Warrington. We knew that scuffle in there in the first half was going to be a tough old battle, but credit to the boys that we kicked on in the second half.
Great to see you back at your best.
Nice,
Thanks, Ben. Cheers. We've got Justin Holbrook now. Justin, a great win then, but what does it tell us about what you're going to expect next week? It's in 2 weeks' time in the semi-final. You can't really take anything for granted, even after a great performance like that.
No, absolutely. I said before the game, it didn't matter who won today. In 2 weeks' time, it won't count. So look, just happy the boys played so well today. We've played some really good, attractive play and attack, and but look, they rested their halves in the second half, so they'll be a different team. I understand that, but you can only play what's in front of you, and I thought we did a good job of that tonight.
After a little kind of dip a few weeks ago, you feel like you got your mojo back now. You're clicking again.
Yeah, even a few weeks ago it was okay. You're not going to play your best every single week for 30,000 games we play here, so we're going to go through some stages, but we're okay where we're at. We're obviously played well today, but we've got another game, and then we'll meet a much more determined and clinical Warrington in 2 weeks, and I'm well aware of that. So great to win today, but it'll be a different game in 2 weeks, and one we've got to be ready for.
There's an awful lot of people of experience on the bench, or sorry, I should even say in the stands not playing. You've got a lot to say about the youngsters out there and the future for St Helens here. Yeah,
definitely. And they did a great job again tonight and played a lot more minutes than they're used to, and it was a good chance for me to leave them out there longer, like Jack Ashworth and Matty Lees to play such big minutes, and James Bentley again. So really good for those players to get this experience. They'll be sore tomorrow, because even though I said Warrington rested some players, it was still as tough as you could ask. So really happy for them.
Great to watch as well. Thanks for your time, Justin. Thanks. We've got Steve Price, I think. Steve, if you'd just like to come in and have a couple of words at the end of that game. You had a bit of a crisis there with Tyrone Roberts being injured, and then I think your plan always was to rest Kevin Brown, so I had to change in your halves there.
Yeah, it wasn't the plan to rest Kev Brown. It's unfortunate we lost both halves. I think it was around 12-minute mark. I think it was not early in the game. So yeah, it threw us all out of whack, and yeah, not much to say after that, was it?
But watching up there, you learned a lot about their lines, their execution, the precision, their timing. Lots to learn for next time you play them in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we've got them in 2 weeks' time, and saying that, there's a lot of things we still need to be better at, and you know, I'm not so happy with certain aspects of the game, but yeah, we fought to the death, and a lot of personnel playing in different positions, and one play on the interchange left us a little bit tight at the end there.
And that execution on the line as well, and you got a chance in getting through that defence. You've got to really try and find a way of breaching that Saints defence, because they were hot tonight. Yeah,
they're a good football team, St Helens. They're, the league leaders for a reason. Yeah, so we've got a bit of work to do, and we'll get a few players back over within the next 2 weeks, and we'll give it a red hot crack then.
Cheers, Steve.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, a bit of work for Steve Price and the Warrington Wolves. Next up for them is Wakefield before that semi-final against Justin Holbrook's St Helens side. Holbrook, for the third time in 2018, has coached his St Helens side to success over the Warrington Wolves.